Why y'all always in the black neighborhood? Why y'all not in the white neighborhood? Like, we go where the crime is, sir. We don't just choose neighborhoods.
Welcome back to the show. Tonight we got my man Ill Will Paul Marvelous _1NE. So if you want to follow him, go follow him. If you follow him but don't follow me, feel free to follow me. I don't believe in followers. I just believe in friends and family. But call it what you want. Tonight we're talking policing. We're talking family, and then just some general questions because I've known Paul for 14 years. He was one of my field training officers. He's like a big brother. So I got a couple questions that I just want to ask him, just curious, just stuff you just might want to know about somebody that you really care about, right? Cool. So I'm going to jump right into it with the policing question that most people want to know. I know my answer to this, but I'm interested in your answer to this, right? What's it like being a black police officer?
Oh, it can be tough at times, boy. I tell you, real tough. And the critics come from my own people. That's the sad part. Like, I even remember one time, me and you, we were on a traffic stop, and dude just came out right in the blue and just started cussing us out for no reason. Like, oh. And I'm like, come on, you just flew through the stop sign, brother. Come on, like, we ain't just stopping you just to stop you. And I remember you told him we're gonna keep that off the air, but it was like, like, why? I'm here to help. I'm not here to cause any harm.
Right.
I don't understand it.
Right.
I mean, when I was growing up, policing was a little different. I didn't have too many interactions with police because if I did, that was my ass. My father wasn't playing that. He told me, you ever get locked up, just stay there.
Right.
He said, don't call me. He said, stay
Word.
there.
Oh, man.
It was real. And I believed that as a kid.
Right.
Every interaction I had with police was pretty decent, But for me now, as a police officer, it's kind of, I guess it all depends on where you're working too. I mean, sometimes you work in an area where people are like, thank you for being here. Thank you. And it's like a shock. And then some place you go, they be like, man, F the police, F5, what you doing here? We don't need you. And we just standing there.
Right, like I wasn't even talking to you, bro. Like we talking about the game.
I understand sometimes, but other times I'm like, why? Why are you drawing this attention to yourself unnecessarily? That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think that comes from? What do you think that animosity comes from, other than just history? Because like we weren't the police officers that was doing the craziness back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. Like that wasn't us, right?
And
so where's
the
the
funny thing
animosity
about
coming
that
from?
is,
Why?
it's not even, sometimes I don't think it's their personal dealings with the police. It's a family member that's dealt with the police in a negative way. Sometimes it's their fault that they're getting dealt with the police that way. But that family member is like, you took my dad, you took my brother, you took my uncle, you took my sister. And then it just trickles down. So even sometimes you hear people like walking with their kids, they be like, I'm gonna let the police get you. I'm gonna let the police get you. And it's right.
Like we
and
just be out just
the
body
kids
snatching
take that
little
in
kids
too.
or
Sometimes
something.
they're like, oh, let me stay away from the police. My mother said they'll get me. And it just keeps trickling down.
Right.
And that behavior needs to be corrected because we're not always here to get you. But
right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of messed up too because like we are the ones in society who have to be the good guys and the bad guys, right? Like the fire department's never coming to not save you, right? Anytime the fire department comes, they're coming to save you. They're not coming to take your freedom. They're not coming to correct your necessarily bad action. I mean, maybe I guess if you set the house
Right.
on fire, but they still just
Right.
coming to save you.
They're coming to
Even if you
save you
set
out
your
of it.
house on
Right.
fire, like they're not
Exactly.
gonna be like you're under arrest. Yeah. But we're the ones who still have to come take your freedom and save your life. So it's like everyone has
Right.
like this love-hate
A lot of people.
relationship. Not everyone, but a lot of people have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, I shouldn't say everyone, but yeah, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with this. They'll be like, why y'all always around here? You know what I mean? And when something happened, they be like, where was y'all at when my brother got robbed? Well, I mean, it's cognitive dissonance here. Like, do
Right.
you want me here or not want me here? Like, you can't have it. You can't have me here and me not be here. Like, it's a physical world.
That
There's
is
only
so
much
true.
I
And
can
then
do.
another thing you always get hit with is why you always in the black neighborhood? Why y'all not in the white neighborhood? Like, we go where the crime is, sir. We don't just choose neighborhoods. Where there's a lot of crime, that's where you're gonna find a lot of police.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things that's real difficult to traverse. It's like if all the crime is in a predominantly black area, wherever there's more crime,
It
you need more
is.
police officers. It
Exactly.
just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you know, me and you, we're not running for office or anything. So it's a little bit easier for us to just say that, acknowledge it. But the politics of it come into play, and people try to find different ways of tiptoeing around it. But it's like at the end of the day, it kind of
Right.
just
Because they want the police
is
on their
what it
side,
is.
but they also want
You know,
the
so
neighborhoods on their side. You
yeah. I mean, I get it too. Like, you know, one police officer's negative actions like changed America. You know what I'm saying? It set a whole set of events in motion that just completely
it
shit just got
terribly out
out
of
of
hand.
hand, right? And it wasn't even borderline, right? Like some of the things that happen, you know, from a law enforcement perspective, you can see how it happened. You can see why the public doesn't see it the way you see it as a police officer. You know, the Derek Chauvin shit was just
Yeah.
like, dog, like, what are you doing,
It's
bro? Like, this is terrible. You know,
right.
like it wasn't
It was
even
just
borderline.
awful. And what's crazy about that now, every incident that occurs, even my wife and I, we battle about what goes on. So we don't know the whole story. You're just seeing what the media is presenting you. I mean, they tell you half truths all the time. That's their job to get that rating everybody want to watch. But like you and I, we've been in situations where you just hear the end of it, but you don't know what happened before everything took place. You're just like, oh, he whooped his ass. But you didn't see him slap me, or you didn't see him slap the lady. The camera comes in afterwards.
Right.
Like plenty of times that too. Why are you taking him to jail? Why are you doing that? Well, he just robbed a kid down the street. You didn't see that part.
Right.
Right.
We just got the gun out the bushes.
So it's like
that's fully loaded. But we can let him go with you if you want. We can give him his gun back. He could go with you.
Right.
You can give
That's
him a
what
ride.
annoys
Put him in your backseat.
Heck out of it. Like Joe Blow citizen that just always want to walk up on something. Like you don't know.
You know,
you don't know what he just did.
Go ahead.
I mean, come on. Get all the facts before you jump in. Even if you have to jump in, but you don't have to jump in. Most of the time, mind your business, keep moving. Well, go ahead.
Right. I think sometimes it's like the human mind. I think the human brain hates the idea of not knowing. Right? Like we all want to know the unknown. Right? So what we do is we will know what we've actually seen or experienced ourselves, and then we'll fill in the unknown with the most likely thing based on past experiences or what we've seen in society. And so it's like, so like the example that I've been given lately is, you know, if I showed you a video of one guy walk up to another one, punch him in the face, knocks him out cold, and asked you which one was the bad guy, you would say obviously the guy who punched the guy in the face was the bad guy, right? But if I told you that the guy that got knocked out kidnapped the puncher's daughter, and that was his first time seeing him, you would be like, he ain't really the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Actually doing what I would do. You know what I'm saying? But depending on how CNN or Fox News put it to you or freak you with it, you might find yourself being empathetic to a kidnapper, to a rapist, to a murderer. So it's like we gotta ask those questions. We gotta dig a little deeper and be like, hold on, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. What's going on here?
you just see the end and like,
Right. What's the
oh,
backstory?
lock him up, defund the police, lock him up.
Like, slow down, slow
Right.
down. Hold
I
fast,
mean,
hold fast. I mean, the defund
yeah,
the police thing is a
I
slippery
mean, you
slope.
get you do have bad police officers. Like in every profession, you have bad teachers, you have
Mm-hmm.
bad doctors, but
Right.
they're not the majority. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
I find it comes to the point sometimes I don't want to talk to people. Like, and that's not me. I'm always like a
Mm-hmm.
friendly, outgoing. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. And they look at me like, man, fuck
Right.
you. Like, good morning. I guess you're not having a good morning. And I'm like, for what? Like, I used to walk by everybody and say good morning. Now I'll just be like, if they say good morning to me, right? Hello, right?
Hello.
Now, if they
Right.
say good morning to me, of course I'm gonna respond. But for the most part, I don't extend myself like that anymore because I don't want to say my feelings get
Mm.
hurt because it's not my feelings, but it's a weird feeling. Like, what did I do to you, bro? I mean, what did I do to you, sis?
Mm.
Have a good day. Keep it on.
Yeah. The joint, it kind of reminds me of a gauntlet, like, because we
Mm-hmm.
both been at it for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And I think after a while, it's only so much you can take before it just begins to steal a piece
Right.
of
There
your
you go.
joy. You know what I'm saying?
That's
You
it.
just begin, it's only so many times someone can hurt your feelings before you just
Right.
be like, whatever, man. Like, I don't have as much joy about it anymore. And you get those glimmers of moments where, a kid might be interested in you or something like that, but it's no longer the baseline happiness
Exactly.
that you once
Exactly. That's
had
the best way
about
to
it,
put it. A
you
little
know.
piece of your joy gets taken
So,
away.
yeah. Yeah, you just try to, I just gotta make it to the pension. The
Oh,
little
I'm gonna make
pension,
it
just a
there.
little
There's no
bit,
doubt
just a
about that. I
little
ain't gonna do that stupid
bit.
mess that up. You know. At the same time, I'm still do my
Yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah. So, oh yeah, we definitely gonna do the job. We're
Right.
gonna do what gotta be done. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna catch the bad guy. We're gonna go home at the end of the day. We're gonna
Oh
help
yeah.
old ladies cross the street. We're gonna
Moments
give
of joy right
directions. We're
there.
gonna do
There's
all of
moments
that.
of
You know
joy.
what I'm saying?
Cause we actually record moments of
Right,
joy
right,
like that
right.
sometimes and share with each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
laugh
yeah,
about it.
yeah, 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 yeah. I done had a crazy last month. I'll tell you about some of it offline, but like I just been like, yo, like I don't know if it's people coming out of,
Uh,
the COVID thing, the lockdowns, or I don't know if some new drugs, cause guns, whatever, but like the city, it's been out
yeah,
of control for
I
like
believe that.
through the winter. And I'm like,
But
it's been cold.
unfortunately and unfortunately, I've been out for the whole winter, so I haven't been experiencing that level of idiocracy, as you want to say. That's a new word for you.
Well, by the time you come back, we're gonna have the little camo marine joints like we got the
Oh
Desert
man. Oh
Storm
hey Connie,
somewhere.
what's up, Connie? Miss O, yeah,
Who is Connie? Is that
yeah.
Miss CHOC? Okay. Hey Connie, how
Night,
you
night,
doing? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Yo, if y'all got questions, drop them in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? This is an interactive show. I pretty much read every comment, every question that
mm-hmm.
someone comes with.
Nick, night.
And real quick, I forgot to put my phone on the complete do not disturb. So if it rings, just bear with me, and I'll
I
just
got you.
get it out of there and
Ain't no
keep it
worries.
moving. Um,
Mm,
However, with all of that said, there are aspects of policing that need
mm-hmm.
improvement,
I mean,
right?
as my man Blyther said,
What
that's the biggest room in everybody's closet.
and
The room for improvement. Yeah,
what improvement?
that's that's a
Oh,
Blytherism
for
right
real?
there.
That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that one. Blight my man. In what ways do you think policing can be
Uh,
improved?
First of all, top guys gotta listen to man on the low floor. They gotta listen because we're
Mm,
we're the ones out there
yep.
dealing with the issues and the situations. I mean, I understand top people got their job to do and they gotta make their decisions how they feel fit, but they gotta listen to us because they don't listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about putting out these mental teams to come out and combat people with mental issues. I don't know how that's gonna work because most of the times they call us anyway, right? But I mean,
Hmm.
I
You talking about when they're talking about having like the social workers come for the
correct,
people who are having
right,
like a mental breakdown, right?
stuff like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I haven't really sat back and said, what can we do to really improve policing? First of all, we need to find a way to get people to be police officers again. That's a big problem
Hmm.
because the shortage is real. Nobody wants to do this job. Nobody wants to do the job anymore.
Oh, it's heavy.
Nobody wants to deal with the chances that they might be getting killed or going to jail for doing their job.
Yeah. Well, the going to jail thing was the going to jail thing wasn't
Right.
realistic, a little
Now it's
while ago, but now it's become realistic in part.
right.
It's realistic, right? It could really happen. Like not doing your job could actually be an option on the table. Like administrative punishment or going to
Right.
jail is gonna be
Exactly.
like, well, I mean, worst case
Yeah.
scenario, like I'll be a free man. I can still deliver Amazon
It's
packages
real.
or something.
So, but I really haven't sat down and said, what can we do to improve policing? Because we could easily say, yeah, we could talk more and do
Mm,
it, but it's not realistic. I need something firm that I can say, hey,
hmm.
if we do this, this is gonna work. Hey George, what's up? But
Yeah, I don't. I think it's all in theory, but I did want to
mm,
hit on the social worker thing. Like, I'm not against social workers being a part of what it is that
mm,
we do. You know what I'm saying? But you and I, we both know, like, just you don't want to send just a social worker to someone who's having
right,
some type of mental breakdown, especially if they've already been
exactly,
potentially violent or something like that, because then we're just gonna have to come and save the social worker. He's just a new victim for us. You know
right.
what I'm saying? And it's like, well, if it was gonna end like this, we could have just came. Now, I'm sure there are situations to where you have someone who's having some type of mental issues, and you could send in a social worker, and we could just play the background. And if the social worker's like, "Hey, I
Hmm.
got it. Hey, cool, you got it. Everything is a-okay." But that's still, at the end of the day, that's a gamble. That's a gamble that a social worker
Exactly.
has to be willing
They're
to
gonna be
take.
like, I ain't signing for this.
You have to, right, right,
You and
right,
I know
right,
we both
right.
taking people to the hospital that's having issues, and the hospital staff is like, help, help, help. So,
Yeah, yeah. Real talk. D. Brown said improvement start through a more
mhm.
diversified approach. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, D. Brown, give us some examples of what you mean by that. You know what I'm saying in the comments. Let us
What do you
know
mean by diversified
in the
approach?
comments. I'm sure he means different
Mm,
different tactics and stuff like that. But I I look at it and I'm like, man, I could be wrong, but I'm just like most of the problems that people have
yeah.
start in their home. So I think what we're trying to do as a society, we're trying to solve a problem at step, say, 5, when it
One.
would behoove us to go back to step 1 and focus on step 1, and then that will allow step 5 to be
Hmm.
a more easier answer. You know what I'm saying? But you're trying to solve a problem, you're gonna let it stay the same from 1 through 4, and then you get to 5, and it's like, well, five's the problem. It's like, well, look to me like the problem started back at the beginning, and I just think that maybe
Yeah,
we
that
could
is so
focus on that.
true. That's where it starts. Like you said, 1 through 4. But when they get to 5, they're like, hey, police come help. And I've been in
Yeah.
situations where people in the community have helped. Like they know the guy or they know the girl, and they'll talk them down because they know each other. Maybe it's just the uniform they don't like, but
Hmm.
community plays a big role in helping with policing. I'm a firm believer of that. I like the community.
I do think that I do too. I do too. And I do think that we as police officers are
Hmm.
a trigger for some people. You know what I'm saying? Like and sometimes you'll have people who like they'll just get mad because the police are there. Now, I mean, we carry weapons, we carry guns, maybe they feel threatened. I mean, if my mindset was that the dude that's coming to help me also has all the
Hmm.
weaponry he needs to take me out, I could see how somebody would kind of be like, well, are you really here to help me? I already
Right.
have a distrust in
Yeah.
you. But that distrust doesn't come from me personally. You don't
But
know
the
me. You never
uniform
met me
says that.
before.
I know you. Yeah, exactly.
It's the team you play for. Right. All Detroit Pistons of the 80s are bad boys. We don't care how you Joe Dumars. Yes.
Exactly.
You're a
Exactly.
bad
That's
boy.
how it is. I really don't know how we're gonna change that.
Oh, let me see.
I mean,
Nah, me neither. What up, Steph? What up, Steph? D Brown said, not all situations require us. Police are the bandage to bigger issues, economics being one, mental health, if we approach these things. Also, policing usually doesn't try to understand
mhm,
the
which is true.
cause.
We're there to fix the situation at hand right now, right now. That's it. Get it done. We don't sit down for like 45 minutes to an hour trying to find
Yeah.
out, hey, why are you feeling this way? No.
Well, yeah, if you just committed a robbery and it's because,
Mhm.
your dad's not in your life, that's something we could
Right.
work out after I got you in cuffs. You know what I'm saying? But as
Right.
far as I'm concerned, like, you're violent, right? And like, I'm a human. Like, I'm naturally going to be kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you ain't about to rob me. You just robbed him. You
hmm
ain't gonna rob me too,
Exactly.
right?
I,
So
no, I
go ahead.
got
I'm
words
listening.
popping up on my screen too, so I'm looking.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Just ignore the words. I got the words. So let me
Mm,
ask you this: what? Yeah, because the words there, they'll play with your mind. Um,
right.
defunding the police, right? Um, when you first heard that, and even now, what are your thoughts on the defunding of the
When
police
I first heard
department?
it, I thought it was crazy. I'm like, what do you want? Just
Mm-hmm.
no type of order at all? You just want police? Just what do you want the police to do? Just walk around, say hi to everybody, bye, and that's it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, we have a function and we have to do that, perform that function. There are people that want and need the police.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Right.
defunding, I don't see how that would help at all. People just throw the word around because they like the way it sounds. But if we don't have police officers, what do you think is going to
Mm-hmm.
happen? What's that movie called? When The Purge. Is that what
The
everybody wants? The
purge.
Purge? I mean,
No, so
hmm
you know me, I'm against defunding the police. However, I've done a little bit of research on on some of the arguments.
hmm
We know the arguments against it, so we don't need to really cover those. So when people say defund the police, there's kind of like two different ideologies. There's one that says we need to take the funding that we put into
hmm
the yearly or fiscal funding that we put into our police departments and reduce that number and use that other money for, like you say, the social workers and other programs and stuff like that. And then there's
hmm
this extremist idea that uses the term defund the police, and what they mean is abolish the police. Like, they don't want no
Right.
police, they don't want no prisons, no correctional officers. I guess it's just the
Mm,
wild wild west,
right.
and whatever happens happens. But those are also the same people who are for gun control, right? So I just don't understand. Like, so you don't want police officers,
Right.
but I'm keep in mind. So
Right.
if we're going wild wild
You
west,
definitely got
right?
to keep
I'm
yours.
like,
Right.
matter of fact, I'm ordering
That's right.
some. You better keep yours, right? Because no one's coming to help you or save you. But so, but I think the genuine ideology behind
Mm,
it, or the people who are genuine, are not the ones who just say abolish it. Because even people who say defund
right.
will be like,
And
abolish?
I
No,
get
what are
that
you
part.
talking about? But they do want to cut the funding and use that funding for other aspects within the community. So if you have a response to
But
that, cool. I'm gonna
if
go
if
back and
you
look at the comments.
we
Go ahead.
already underfunded as far as I'm concerned. There's plenty of police departments that ain't got nothing. You using old
Mm-hmm.
people stuff, they recycling stuff. That shouldn't be the case. So why what you say defund the police, that means you're taking away money from
Mm-hmm.
what we have when we don't have enough already. I mean, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, I'm not the money guy. I'm not out here spending the money on the equipment and all that. But I see it from when people come out that I'm training and like, where you get that from? They're like, oh, somebody's old thing. What? Right. Like,
What?
when we start doing that? So I don't know.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, I'm like, there's a lot. I think that there are a lot of other places and communities where they could cut funding before they decide to do of the police department. And to me, and you know me personally, I'm more conservative at this point in my life. But one thing that I definitely know for sure is the people who are advocating for who have the power to genuinely defund and advocate for defunding the police, don't live in the neighborhoods where the police departments are going to be defunded, right? Like these people, these politicians, these celebrities, these rich folks, and I'm talking beyond racial lines, they're going to have their same police department. They're going to have a tight SWAT team in case the boys run up in their crib. They want to defund in the areas where you need it the most, which is the high crime. And I'm like, well, agree or disagree, the people pushing it are being disingenuous.
Exactly.
Right? Like, they're not going to defund the police at Martha's Vineyard.
Exactly.
Like, why would they're not going to do that?
So they, like I said, they throw around the word because it sounds nice.
So, well, I mean, it was an election year. The shit worked.
Right. Exactly.
Shit worked brilliantly. You know.
Yeah.
Let me get to some of these comments right quick. So Nick said the community doesn't trust the police as a whole. Facts. Melissa said defund doesn't mean remove the police though. I forgot your friend's name. Miss CHOC. Connie. There are good people and bad people in every profession. I have personally had good and bad experience with the police. Defunding the police doesn't help. I want the bad apples to be held probably accountable. Yeah. Mimi said it just means putting other resources in place and putting some of the funds to those resources. Exactly, different words and meanings. Truth. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not even somebody who's big on. I'm not with the tax the rich party, right? But like, if you want to get some money, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of millionaires and millionaires that you could go to before you come trying to make my expired vest last another 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's guns on the street. I'm just saying, you know, it's other places y'all can go.
Of course.
These little crumpets of money to fund whatever it is. But,
it was the popular thing to do. Say defund the police. Yeah, I mean,
it worked.
They started a whole new trend. Anytime somebody sees something, they're like, "Yeah, we need to defund the police." Okay, something just happened in your neighborhood. It wasn't stopped, but you want to defund the police.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to me, I think if anything, the one thing that definitely needs to happen is when you really get the really, really bad apples, you weed them out.
Exactly.
You send them on their way. You know what I'm saying? And just to say, like you said with teachers, like if you watch enough of the news, you'll find teachers across the country who have inappropriate relationships with students, right? But no one's like, hey, defund the teachers.
Not like,
you know. Now
they don't say all these teachers are terrible.
Go ahead.
We need to get rid of them. They don't say that.
Well, there's no teacher. There's no teacher wall of silence in the minds of the
right
in the minds of the public, right? Like not all teachers stick together. Like teachers they'll snitch on each other, right? Like they know that, and I'm not really with the idea that there's a blue wall of silence. I'm with the idea that there is a brotherhood, right? And certain things get handled within house, within the family, just like in your house. You know what I'm saying? But the blue wall of silence, I mean,
that might have been that was definitely a thing of the past.
Totality,
I would think it was definitely a thing of the past,
right?
But as we've come along and grown, we're like, no, that ain't right. What you doing?
What are you doing? Well, that's something that I think people miss out on too, because typically, like if you and I are on a scene together and I do something inappropriate and you check me, right, and I have a certain amount of respect for you, you stopped the negative thing from occurring before it got there. So they never really know how many times we checked each other along the way, because it's not going to make the news. Not to say, oh, Paul stopped Bradley from beating the brakes off this guy. There's no news. It's not news until I beat the brakes off of him, right?
That's exactly how it goes.
So let's see. Steph said defunding the police will not stop corruption. D. Brown said the real concept was never explained when it comes to defund the police. Yeah, they did it terribly. It was terribly. It was marketed terribly. Georgie said, your mother just got robbed. Who you call it? The police. perhaps we should, Honey Wordsmith said, perhaps we should think about properly training the police and I don't know what the next thing is. Like I said, I mean, I think there's always room for improvements in training and de-escalation and all of that good
Yeah,
stuff.
training is
But we do a hard job.
It's easy to say to train, but sometimes that stuff go out the door unless you're like constantly in training, right? Yeah, exactly.
In the moment.
Because you trained something about for a year ago and then the incident occurs, that training went out the window. Unless you're constantly going over and over and over and over again. And it's hard to complete a lot of training when you're actually on the job because you have to work the shift. You're doing the job, right? So
you're doing the job.
I hear people say training, which is good. I understand. But it's not as easy as it sounds.
Well, that, and I think that there's a cognitive dissonance that occurs on the left, right? Because the left is the ones who say defund the police, and then they also say that the police need more training. Well, you're going to take money away from me, but then you're going to give me more training, which is going to cost more money. Because you got to realize, like, you got to train all of us, right? So, are you trying to take away from the money, or are you trying to improve with resources? Because one costs money and the other takes away. And you can't have both. If you're not going to get less training. I'm getting less training.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of times we need training, we can't get it. I mean, that's part of it too.
Yeah. Manpower issues, all of that. They'll be like, well, can't go. Well, you got to work the street. It's like, what, man? Gosh, I was trying to be a hostage negotiator. They crushed my little dreams early on.
Oh, you wanted to take that training?
I wanted to be a hostage negotiator. Yeah, so I'll tell you a quick story. I was on evening, so it was a long time ago, and one of our officers had caught a suspect on a warrant for a murder through PG County. So myself, our lieutenant at the time, and this officer went to PG County homicide, and we were talking to the homicide detective. And he could probably tell that I was young, you know what I'm saying? Not a rookie, but he could tell that I was young. He was like, so, what do you want to do with this police thing? And I was like, to be honest, man, the only thing that I've ever really had a burning desire to do is like be a hostage negotiator. I just think it'd be cool to be that dude they call.
Come talk him down.
Yo, he has this many hostages. Yeah, like, okay, look, you give me 3 hostages, I give you the pizza. I get to be Denzel.
My ninja.
And Inside Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And so this homicide detective looks at the lieutenant and he said, he's like, yo, why don't y'all send him to hostage negotiation school? Like, he sounds like he'd be into it.
Just
he was like, no, we're not going to do that. And they just crushed my little dreams. And he was like, why? The detective asked him why. He's like, well, because, based on our general orders, if we have a hostage negotiation situation, we call in the locals, right? And the detective's like, yeah, okay, but what if we are 2 hours away and he's the guy who took the class? Are you going to send him in, or are you going to wait for somebody else to come? Now, real quick before I end the story, I'll tell you something crazy. The very next day, I got a call for a hostage negotiation situation up on the upper red line. It ended up being nothing, but I was just like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So let me get to this comment, and then I'm going to move on to the next question. Mimi said, defunding is much more broad than most think. I think the extreme definition is taken as what it is, and it's not. I will recommend research and true ideology. Recommend
enrollment research. Yeah.
Enrollment research is the true ideology for themselves. Okay, cool. Yeah. So on a more personal level, right? Have you ever had an arrest that you regretted having to take? Like, shoot, man, I wish I didn't have to take this one, but this is what it is.
Yes, actually. But it was one of our own, like bus operator. You know how these bus operators, they just don't know when to stop. Like they put up. I couldn't do it. I'll say that right now. I couldn't do it. All respect to them. I love them. But the stuff they got to deal with on a daily basis, and for no apparent reason, just for them operating a bus. Like, they made me take this guy to jail. This guy had like 26 years on the job. Right. 20.
Ooh.
So, and he kicked the dude off the bus, like literally kicked him, flew him out the door, boom. He was in there fighting and carrying on. So, kicked him off the bus, literally closed the door, waited for us to
Mm,
come. They looked at the video, and it was like,
mm.
yeah, he can't do that. I'm like, what? He was defending people on the bus. Like, no.
Was the
Yeah.
dude being violent towards the customers?
Right. Yeah.
All right, hold
I
on,
still
real
remember
quick.
that.
So one of the solutions, one of the solutions to society's problems is to allow good
Hmm.
men to be good men, right? That's how I see it. If a bus operator is protecting the passengers on the bus from violence or just some super duper craziness, the law wasn't meant for us to
Right.
show up and be like, well, we're gonna
No.
take you to jail because you kicked him. Like, no, we're
You
supposed to show
helped
up and be
out,
like, hey,
right.
good job.
Hmm.
Is he still here? Do you see him? You a good witness?
It's
You got to come to
the
court.
spirit and the letter.
Put a
That's
body
what
attachment
we
on
go
that
down
ass.
to. The spirit and the letter. That's it.
Spirit in the
Like, if
letter,
it was
baby.
me, I was like, nah, he ain't going to jail. All right, man, thanks, appreciate it. We get your name and number, whatever you need. But the sergeant at the time, he ain't no more. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he got to go to jail. I'm like, and back then, it was early still, my early years. I still remember it because when I went down to JGB to get his property and stuff, he was coming to get it. So I just gave it to him before he actually had to walk in the
Mm-hmm.
building. But I don't
Mm.
know. I
He
don't
lost
know.
his
I
job.
don't think they ever. Probably no paper by DC anyway, but I don't think he lost his job. But like now, I'd be like,
Mm.
no, I ain't locking him up.
Oh, now, well. One thing that has happened is the whole the social activist movement have given us us as officers more
Hmm.
power to push back. It's given us a little more room to push back, voice our frustrations about
Right.
particular incidents, and kind of play defense attorney
Hmm.
on the street if need be. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how. Anytime I take an arrest, I don't think about it so much as like an officer. Like it's pretty easy. Like
Right.
you did the shit. It's on
Exactly.
camera. Like you're going to jail. My issue is what is the defense attorney? What
Hmm.
holes do I have in this thing? You know what I'm saying? That's really what you gotta look at it for. And sometimes you'll actually be like, wow, like
Right. That's a
maybe
good
this
way
shit
to
ain't
look
what I
at it.
thought it was.
With
All right,
defenses.
so um yeah. What is just tell me about some of the rewarding aspects of policing you've
The
experienced
community
throughout your
service
years.
aspects, that's what I love. Like going to the schools, meet the young kids that still love the police. You know, they're still heroes,
Yeah, we
right?
still heroes, right?
That's definitely a good
We all
feeling.
Batman.
I mean, one time we caught a dude that snatched a lady's phone that was from like she worked somewhere downtown, big time office, and the thankful behavior. She's like, I'm so thankful that you got it. I appreciate it so much. Little things like that is satisfying to me. I don't need any awards or any praises. Just the fact that I did my job and you were set right. That's how I feel. But I love the kid
Yeah.
stuff though. I ain't gonna lie. I
Mm.
haven't done that. We haven't done that. Like I do McGruff with Mel. So we always at all the community
Yeah,
events
yeah,
we
yeah.
dealing with. That's when the community loves us. When we out there talking to them, sitting down eating with them,
Yeah.
playing games with them. They love that. So that makes me
Right.
feel good. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Like our department doesn't seem to be. Go
That's
ahead.
because go ahead. I was gonna say that's because deep down people know the sacrifices
Hmm.
that we make. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the issues that people have with us, they know that when it gets heavy,
Right.
we the ones that's coming to save you. You know what I'm saying? And though some of us or very few of us or whatever have made bad decisions, when your natural human instinct tells you to run away, we are the
Right. We
ones
just
that's
talked about
running
that the other day, right?
towards
Yeah. Uh-huh.
the danger. Yeah, and so it's just like, hey, you can dislike us, you can hate us, but
Yeah.
we'll
Exactly.
still come save you. It's all good, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. It won't be as chummy as it could be if you were the grandma that made
Ah.
cookies for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still I'll save you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of it, it just be like, all right, cuz, well, I just need the information for this report. Where's your grandma? Hey, grandma, you need a ride home?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure
Yeah,
you
we
get
do
to the
that too
crib or
sometimes. I
whatever.
mean, depending on the situation, like, okay, we get a ride here. Come on. You know, so
Yeah, definitely.
right,
You know, working midnights, people always looking for a ride. Like, look, it's 80 y'all. You know, I got to ride.
right.
I need my truck too. I
Like
got to
people
have the
don't see
space to
that side
ride
of
too.
policing. You know, like you said, they always see the negative side when it comes up. Like I was watching the news today. I don't know if you heard about that state trooper.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot where she's at. That ran her car. Yeah,
On the highway,
yeah, to that drunk driver.
head on. Yeah,
And I was thinking to myself,
yeah. Yeah, and she did that because he
right,
started
the
driving to
marathon.
like some runners.
And I was like,
Yeah, a
and
marathon.
I'm
Yeah.
sitting there thinking to myself, would I do that? I don't know. Right in the
You
middle
don't
of it, I was
know.
like,
You don't
oh
know,
no,
right?
heck. But sitting here looking at it, I was like, that car was coming kind of fast. And she just, no hesitation, took it.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was
Yeah,
smart too because she stopped the car, right? Like she slowed down and what
impact.
that does is
Right.
it lessens the overall impact. Because you know,
Yes.
if you got two cars going 40, it's 80. One car sitting still, the other one going 40, it's 40.
Man,
So
did she?
she ate that joint though.
And she got
She
26
ate
years
it
on the
head
job.
on, bro. She should have been retired.
You know she retiring now.
Oh, what? She probably retired. She probably got out the car and was like,
But
all right, I'm done.
I'm glad they put that on the
She
air.
rented her
And it was
packet.
like a little snippet.
Here's my paperwork.
Like a little snippet.
Mm-hmm.
That had been she shot somebody or
Yeah.
shot an unarmed person. That would have been on the news all day long.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's definitely there. I think what's occurring today is that there's mind manipulation occurring in our mainstream media and all the media, social media. They're manipulating the way people view different people, different institutions, money, friends,
Mm-hmm.
family, healthcare, medical care. And so to me, the solution to that is you just have to be willing to question
Right.
even that which you believe in yourself, right? So, you know, if you think the police are good all the time, you should try and find out if there's any bad officers because there are. And if you think the police are bad all the time, you should question that. Be like, why do I think the police are
Exactly.
bad? There got to be some good dudes out here, right? Like, if we really wanted to go out here and just run amok on the community, you would have to send
Right.
after us. You'd have to send
Mm-hmm.
in the army, right, or the Marines to stop us. And we just like, oh, we just gonna go batshit crazy like they say we doing.
Ain't that the truth?
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you have to really call in the
Right.
army, the National Guard, to stop it. And it's like that's
Mm-hmm.
not happening.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's an
But
interesting thing. Where you want to go next? You want to go family or you want to
this is
go?
your interview, man.
What you
You tell
doing,
me where
man?
you
You
want to go.
rotate. Nah, see, this
You
is
just
your
the host.
interview. I'm just the host, but we always talk about relationships and family on my show, so I'm gonna just go to some general
Mm-hmm.
questions that I got for you, right? And if they come off as stupid,
No
forgive me.
such
You
thing
know what
as
I'm
a
saying? It's
stupid
been a
question.
long week. Um, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna push back on that because
Mm-hmm.
I say it all the time. Um, I've never seen you
Right.
angry. Never. I mean, we've played ball together. We've arrested people together. We, you know, had a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
conversations. We disagree on politics from time to time and stuff like that. I have never,
And
ever seen you angry, right? Like you always had this very
uh-huh.
jovial kind of spirit, right? How do you maintain that, like that baseline level of
Uh,
peace or happiness?
well, one thing for sure is you can't make me angry. That's for sure. Because every time I see you, this happiness comes through me. Like it's like every time I see you, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, I
you
appreciate it,
know,
man. I thought you were saying
no,
like
no,
you're
no,
not worthy
what?
of making me
No, no,
angry.
no, no,
Like what you
no.
mean, dog? I
You
can
not
say
gonna make
something
me
to piss you
angry
off, right?
because
Okay,
yeah, I love you too, bro.
my man. I
There's a
love you,
piece
my
about you
brother,
that every time I see you, it just makes me
my
happy, no
man.
matter what. But uh, I got a friend of mine that we've been friends about 23 years, and we used to have all these conversations all the time. And I said the same thing to him. I was like, "Yo, you don't get upset, do you?" And he's like, "For what? What good is it gonna do?" If something happens, fix it or just move on. But why get angry about it? And I took that with me from all these years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was never an angry person to begin with, but it's like, what's the purpose? Like, get my blood pressure raised, get all man, like it does me absolutely no good. I might get annoyed from time to time with some stuff, but I don't get angry
Mm-hmm.
per se. Because he said, like, sometimes people spill something like, God, I'll just go ahead and clean it up. Because what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna clean it up, right? So
You got to clean it up anyway, right? Might as well be
yeah,
might as
I
well be
mean,
okay
it
with
happened
it.
for a reason. Maybe I wasn't supposed to drink that. Let me clean that up. But I don't know. I took that from him, and I've been running with it ever since. Like to this day, I've never seen him angry. It's like he has the same. He'll give me his shirt off his back if I ask him for it. Right? And that's how I learned a
Right.
lot from just watching people and seeing how they behave. Like I
Mm-hmm.
take things from a lot of. You know who I love talking to that's like that? Ramon
Cool.
Sanchez.
So I saw Sanchez for the first time in
Mm.
probably like 5 or 6 years the other day, and we gave each other a big hug, and he was just so at peace with life.
Always, always,
We're in the middle of the
always
hood, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
talking to him.
yeah.
Like people look at him and think he's stupid or an idiot or dumb,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Very intelligent brother.
Oh
Very
no.
intelligent. You can sit and talk to
Mm-hmm.
him for hours. And he told me one thing about
Right.
my wife that every time I think about not doing something for her, he pops up on my shoulder. He says, "Your job is to make her life easier." And I was like,
Mm.
"What?" So yeah, it's your job to make her life easier. She asks you to do something, just do it. And I'm like, every time I think about it, like, I'm not doing that. Here come Ramon on my shoulder. Hey, your job is to make her life easier. And, yeah, it
With
doesn't
his
hurt.
accent.
So it's like, all right,
Right.
Sanchez, I got you.
Right.
But that's all I have. I don't really need to get angry. Not even S1
Mm.
get me angry because
Okay.
it's not personal. Oh, they do?
People make me angry, so
Oh,
I haven't
really?
mastered that yet. Yeah. 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 I mean, it takes. It's not so much. Well, one thing that I'm just not for. I'm not for like you trying to like kick me or punch me or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the audacity of you to think that
Right.
you could do some shit like that to me, right? Um, but I'm talking about just in outside of policing. I'm talking about like in everyday life.
Mm,
Like I have triggers. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten decent at um not overreacting. There are times when I do. When I say overreact, I mean being like
right.
saying something that I
Yeah.
shouldn't in response to, right? Like I have a very quick uh response gene to be like, what? And it just pops back. So I'm
Hmm.
getting better at stepping away from that and letting it happen. But it's also, it's a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you need it. Sometimes I need it. Sometimes that quickness will stop the fight from happening. It'll be like, oh shit, he ended it.
Give me an example of that.
Like if I didn't know, would you say I don't know you, and you say something to me, and I get triggered, right? So now I'm emotional inside. You might not know it, but I'm
Hmm.
emotional like what you said to me. If I can quickly respond and beat you at that verbal game and shut you down, then my verbal attack on you stops
Oh,
us
okay.
from having
I
some
got you.
physical type of thing. Because I can say what I gotta say and then be like, oh, I shut you down, I walked away. We ain't even gotta come to fisticuffs. So at that point it's actually a gift because the best case
Right.
scenario
I
was me
got you.
shitting on
Uh
you verbally. Right? After that, we was knuckling up, right? But I also have to, when it's a curse and I say something that I shouldn't, I'm like, I hope I don't have to end up,
Oh,
talking to
buddy.
somebody about this one.
Yeah, it's not worth your peace.
So, but we are, most of it's 99% of it's not worth your peace, man.
Nope.
Most of it's
Not at
not.
all.
Um, right. one thing I wanted to hit on
Mm.
before we move on, right? And the policing thing lasted so much longer than what I thought it would. I thought it was going to be a real quick type of thing. You and I, we had a disagreement the last time we talked, right? And I was telling you that I bought my daughter's
Yes.
stuff for Valentine's Day,
Mm.
right? And so we got to hit on that, right? So because typically me and my guests, we get along fine. So we're going to have a little disagreement. So I bought my daughter some stuff for Valentine's Day, and your opinion was that you're not supposed to buy your daughter stuff for Valentine's Day. So explain to the good people your perspective on buying your kids or your children
Okay.
gifts on
Well,
Valentine's Day, or not
I'm
doing
not saying
so.
that you shouldn't, because you can do whatever you want with your kids, or people can do whatever they want with their kids.
Of course.
But I
Right,
personally
right, right.
don't buy my kids anything for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day to me is a day for lovers. All right. They'll have the opportunity to get all that stuff from their boyfriends or husband, whatever they may have. I just feel that it's a romantic holiday. In fact, when it's a holiday
Okay.
period, it's like it's all about the money grubbing. And don't get it wrong, I celebrate Valentine's Day with my wife. We've been together 18 years, married 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we both right now on Valentine's Day like, it's just overpriced. It's just hiking stuff up for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's for
Mm-hmm.
kids and parents. That's for the romantic side. I mean, if you guys want to do it, other women, because I talk to plenty of my friends, they do the same thing. I'm like, why? It's a romantic
Mm-hmm.
holiday. So why are we getting our kids hearts and candy and all that stuff? And I'm waiting to hear what the women got to say on here about that.
I don't know. Let's see. Well, real quick before I give you my opinion, we got Lil, we got Steph, and we got Mimi, and we got Mama in here. So, ladies, and
That's
Aisha
my
B just
sister.
popped
That's my
on.
sister.
What's going? Do you know Aisha B 717? Oh, what's up, sis? I love your brother. Oh, so
Yeah.
since you my sis too, because it's my brother right here. We are discussing right now. We're at the part where we're discussing his views on Valentine's Day being strictly for lovers, and how in his house he doesn't buy his daughters gifts for Valentine's Day. In my house, I get my daughters gifts for Valentine's Day. So
Mm.
Mimi said, I think it's about love in general, not just romance. So I agree. I understand that the original premise, or who knows what the original premise
Yeah.
of any of this stuff was. You know what I'm saying? But I think I get it. Like it was a romance thing, but I look at it like it's a day to express love to the people that you
So hold on.
love.
You don't express love
So
every day
you
to the
know,
people you love? Oh, okay.
of course, of course.
Right.
Like,
That's what I'm
hey,
saying.
come on, dog. You know me, man. I hit you up
Yeah,
out the blue and be
exactly. I
like, "What up, boy?"
understand.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I see the love.
Yeah, but we're talking about it in terms of the scope of the holiday, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tell my kids and my wife every day. I'm like, all right, love,
Yeah,
love. We say love, love, or I
that's
love you.
cool.
You know what I'm saying? We say love, love, and love is an action word, so we do those things throughout the day. I took Libby outside today. She rode her hoverboard and
Mm-hmm.
all of that good stuff. So love is something that it's just a day to do more, right? So I agree with that too. It is a day
To
to
do more with your significant
express
other.
it more. You're just trying to get some box. You're trying to get some box. Y'all kids go to sleep. This ain't your day.
Hey,
This between me
that's
and
what
your
I tell
mama.
them.
You know what
I'm
I'm
like,
saying?
yo,
Y'all go upstairs
me
and go
and
to
mommy's
sleep.
day is not for you. But they don't question it. And what's
Mm.
funny is they get she's
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
but she got more kids than me.
She said, ew.
Okay, so it's their little friends at
Oh.
school give them little cards and candy and all that, which is cool. I don't
Mm.
mind, but I'm not giving them
But you ain't getting nothing.
that.
Well, I think I was telling you when we was on the phone that day, it was just like I think it sets the tone for what's to be expected. You know what I'm saying? That's also something that's my opinion. Steph said Saint Valentine was a real person. So that's what I'm saying. Like some of the stuff that we celebrate now
Oh
is like
man,
we've just gotten so
yeah.
far off of what the original thing was. Steph, do me a favor. Tell me about Saint Valentine. Give me a quick little
Mm,
bit of factoid on Saint Valentine. Mimi said you appreciate your life every day, but we empathize
I
birthdays.
don't.
Same thing. Yeah, that's a good point.
I emphasize my kids' birthdays.
But okay, Paul, we get it. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying? Yeah,
emphasize their birthdays.
exactly, right?
Yeah,
It's the same thing. It's the same. It's the
yeah.
same. It's the same ideology. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I think about
Mm,
birthdays, right? Real quick before we move on. Um, think about birthdays, and I'm kind of like, wow, every single day is actually the only day that you existed,
mm,
right? Like all the other days that you've been through are gone forever.
mm,
There's
mm.
nothing you can do about them. And all the days that you will live, you can't do anything about them either. Now you can kind of
Mhm.
negotiate with them now so that they might be better in the future. But there's nothing to say that what you do now is going to
Yeah,
help them or hurt or whatever. You know, something that's outside of your control. But the only day you really have, right? The only day you exist in,
mm.
the moment you are birthed is right
That is
now, right
true.
here, right now. That's it.
That is it. Absolutely correct.
Mm.
Because the other days are gone, and who knows what tomorrow brings? Right? Give me the song. Give me the song, guys, lyricists.
Yesterday's never coming back. Tomorrow doesn't exist. If time is real, this life was
Hey,
never a gift.
yes, it is.
Hey, that's real shit. Saint Valentine was in prison because of his beliefs and martyred by an
Okay,
emperor of Rome. And now we
and
just give
don't forget
chocolates and
flowers.
cards. Flowers, yeah, yeah. Well, yo, real
Mm.
quick. I know I said real quick. We're gonna move on. I asked Lil what she wanted for Valentine's Day this year. She was like, "Don't get me no flowers."
Why is that?
I think that she's getting to that point where she's just like, like you said, like we show each other
Right.
love, like on day in and day out. Like I give foot rubs and stuff like that,
No,
you know. So it's just kind of like I don't. I'm just gonna have to put them in a vase and then throw them away later on. They're gonna die and be
well,
all withered and
Lil could
wilted
hear me,
over
but
like this and
you can
shit.
get us some orchids. Those work. Yeah.
Orchids. I
How
know she likes
perfect.
lilies.
Right.
Lilies for Lily.
Yeah, there you
Lilies
go.
for Lily.
But the orchids thing has been working real well.
Mm.
So that's what my wife likes,
I had
orchids.
to try that out.
Because roses do get expensive on Valentine's Day
Okay.
for some reason.
Yeah. Lil said flowers take up too much space on the counter. They do be in the way.
Put them by the windowsill or something, Lil.
Nah,
Right.
the babies will get to
Clean
them
them
and
up.
knock them over, and then it'd be
Yeah.
flowers
More
all
work
over
for
the
you. Yeah,
floor.
we don't
Yeah,
want
yeah,
that.
yeah. So,
Oh, man.
yeah. Top five dead or
You
alive.
know, I've been thinking about this because, I know I
Right.
watch your joint all the time. But,
Okay. So tell me the top five that you would like to sit down and have a
and I
conversation
got
with, dead or alive,
Denzel
real or fictional.
Washington. Yes. I
Really?
don't think
I don't think anyone
that's
said him.
that's
Yeah, yeah. You know that's my
training
man,
day.
Officer Hoyt. Today is your training day. I supervise 5 officers. That's 5 problems, 5 sets of personalities. You can be number 6 if you act right. But I ain't holding no hands. I ain't babysitting. You
Oh,
know, you don't like
man.
narcotics, get the fuck out of my car. Go back to the precinct, get a nice pussy desk job, chasing bad
Look
checks or
at
something, you
you.
know? My fault.
Yo,
I ain't
that's
mean to mess
cool.
up your joint, but
Love
go ahead. You
Denzel.
know, that's my man.
MJ, the real MJ,
Okay.
Mike Jordan. What you was about to
My,
say?
okay.
Mike,
Okay. Okay.
no.
Michael Jackson, but that's
I
fair.
guess,
Michael Jackson is
yes,
fair.
he's a fair MJ.
Michael
He's a fair
Jackson is a
MJ. But
fair assumption.
yes,
Based on
I
your
agree. I
age,
agree. I
he's
give
a
you that.
fair
I
assumption.
just didn't thought you was gonna say Magic
Okay.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And
What?
the Obamas, of course. Like, every time I
Okay.
watch that "Yes We Can" speech, it gets me emotional. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been listening to his book. I haven't been reading. I've been listening to it while I'm driving sometimes. And all the things that he had to go through to become president is
Mm-hmm.
like amazing. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about Bush and Trump as presidents, but them dudes are pretty smart guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be. You might
Mm-hmm.
not agree with how they do things or their views, But in order to get that spot, you gotta go through hell. But
Well, one thing, real quick, one thing about the presidents that I always try to do is I acknowledge that they are good
right.
at something that they
Mm-hmm.
do, right? Like, I know I remember when my father used to watch CNN. He still does, but he would watch CNN. And I asked him this about Trump, and I asked him this early on back in the early 2000s about
Mm-hmm.
George Bush
Right.
Jr. Baby Bush is what I call him. And I was like, yo, why did they never say anything
Right.
that these people are good at? And I just don't believe that you can reach that level of, I don't know, power
Mm-hmm.
or whatever you want to call it, and
Right.
you're just
Exactly.
stupid,
Exactly.
right? You're at least really good at persuading people to do what you want them to do, which is something
It's
that works well for me and
amazing.
my profession.
Amazing.
So write a book, I'll
Yeah.
read
I
it.
was
You
sitting
know
here
what I'm
thinking about it.
saying?
It's like,
So
people call these men stupid and dumb, and but
yeah,
after listening to all this, you don't just walk in and become president. You know, it
wasn't
don't
Bush
matter,
a C
right?
student? Yeah, most of us are, but he was good. He was good enough to convince more than half the country to vote
Got
for him.
something
So
going
he
on.
got something going
And
on,
last but
right?
not least, Oprah Winfrey. Because Oprah just be
Okay, what would
getting
you want
people
to
to
talk
do
to Oprah
anything.
about?
Oprah buys a book. Everybody buys that book. Oprah watches a movie.
I know, right? I need Oprah to
Everybody
come
watches
plug
that
my
movie.
show.
So I want to know what it is, yeah,
That's power.
that she uses to influence people. Like, she probably could be president.
Oh yeah. If Oprah ran
Uh-huh.
on the Democrat ticket against anyone other than maybe Trump,
She was
she'd
she was an
probably win.
influencer before Facebook and Instagram.
Right,
So,
right,
and she didn't have
right,
the
right, right.
the way that we do now. Can you imagine? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Lil says she wouldn't
Oh,
vote for. Let's go back. Let's go back. Mimi says she say Lil Bushy. I call him Baby Bush, but that's good too, Lil Bushy. Or you have powerful family members and money.
mm-hmm,
Nepotism is real. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's an aspect to it. She has influence. I
mm-hmm.
think your sister was talking about Oprah, and Nick said you can have a team full of smart people around you. I mean, I
Right.
give credit where credit is due, right? So like, even if you're not the brightest in a in 90% of your areas, but the people just happen to like you, but you smart enough to say, well, shit, I ain't
You
bright
know
enough
who
as these
are.
other 90%.
Exactly.
I'm gonna hire people who are.
That's right.
I
She
gotta
did
give
that.
you credit for that. You smart. you smart enough to know that, like,
Right.
hey, this ain't my lane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hire somebody else to do it. Matter of fact, I saw this thing earlier, and I know I'm gonna mess it up, but it said something like the A students are workers, the B students are managers, the C students are the owners of the companies, and the D
Really?
students own the buildings. It was something like, I'm gonna see if I can find
I'd
it,
like
and
to
if
know
I can
how they
find
came
it,
up with
I'll
that.
share it, in my story or whatever. Probably because the A students are the ones who simply follow instructions to the
Mm-hmm.
T enough to pass the test. The B students do the same thing, but they know that they kind of have
Well,
an inkling
wasn't
like this is all just a game.
Bill Gates an A student?
And it's go ahead.
Oh,
I
of
don't
course.
know. I
There's,
mean,
yeah,
but
right. There you
there's an
go.
exception to
True
every
that.
rule, right? You know what I'm saying? We're talking about general. We're not talking about mad scientists who are trying to take over the world, right? Come on, Paul. We're just doing
Uh,
instruments today, Shit.
I got you.
But the idea is that the people who didn't take school so seriously were the ones who understood the power of having other people do the
Mm-hmm.
work for them. So it was just like, I just got to get through enough to go start this
Makes
business and have
sense.
other people do it for me.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So let's do the and Lil say she wouldn't vote for
Really?
Oprah. So Lil, tell us in the comments why you wouldn't vote
Mm-hmm.
for Oprah while we move on to the next joint, and we'll swing back around to it. So just to recap,
Mm-hmm.
Denzel,
Mm-hmm.
the Obamas, Oprah,
MJ.
who else
Yeah.
was it? And Michael Jordan. Would you want to talk to MJ, or would
I
you just
want
want
to
to
talk
like
to
be
him
in his
too.
presence?
I mean, after you watch The Last Dance. I've been a Jordan fan my whole life. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there are different aspects of his life that you hear about how he's an asshole and he's
Mm-hmm.
this and he's that. And we all know sometimes you got to be that asshole to be great, right? So,
Right.
how does he feel about it? And did he let it bother him at all while he was making his way to the top? How does he really feel about Isaiah? Because he won't come out and
they
say
don't like each other.
about him not be.
Mike doesn't. I think Mike doesn't like for people to
Oh,
know that he gets triggered too.
yeah,
And he's gotten really
he
good
definitely
at,
gets triggered.
you know.
He said that.
Yeah,
But
I took that personal.
that Zeke thing has
Yeah,
been like hanging,
yeah.
like just every time he goes somewhere, they talk about the Zeke thing. Even Zeke talks about it. So
Yeah,
one of right,
it's
it
the
just needs
stuff
to
of
come out.
legend.
I want to know what happened, man. You stop him from being on the dream team because he should have been on the dream team. Right.
Yeah, they had Christian Laettner on the
So
dream team, bro. He was in nobody's dream. Great college basketball player, but he wasn't up there. You're like we talking about the greatest team ever assembled, right? But they do
send a
typically try
college.
to send a
Yeah, they
college
do send a college
player.
It was Shaq at first,
And
but
he
Shaq
was
said
that
no.
dude that year.
Yeah, Shaq first.
Oh, really? I
And
didn't know
Shaq
that.
said
Was
no.
Shaq?
I know he is kicking himself
Really?
constantly about that to this day, probably.
Yeah, and
Part of
that
his
would
legacy.
have been
Mhm.
the true, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
it was
he
Shaq
effed
first.
that up. I didn't know that.
And Leitner came in, filled the spot. Don't get me wrong, Leitner was a hell of a college basketball player, but he played for Duke. That means I can't like him.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's only been 2 Duke basketball players that I've even considered like him. And that's exactly
Grant Hill and who else? White Chocolate?
Mr. Williams, that's on the analyst now.
Oh, you talking about the
exactly.
analyst now, the one that got into the motorcycle accident. Yeah. I did like him. And you can't not like Grant. If you don't like Grant
Hill
Hill,
was a great dude. He was a humble dude.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He even played that way, you know what I'm saying? Like he would just do something and just, it's all good. I just dunked on an 80 yards, okay.
Yeah.
I'll go buy you guys some shakes afterwards.
Very
Don't
nice
worry about it. We're still friends. Well, Ill Will, Paul, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you sitting down with me. I always give my guests a chance to ask me a question. So if you want to ask me a question, this is your moment.
I ain't got no questions for you, man. The only thing I can say is, but I love you, brother. I love what you're doing. Keep up all the positivity that you bring. It makes me smile. It makes my heart warm. I love you. I love the family. My little Libby. She makes me smile even more. But I love what you're doing, man. Keep up the good work.
Well, I appreciate you. I love you too. We love you too. We love your family. We know your daughters are getting big. We ain't seen them in a while.
But, it's gonna change.
We got nothing but love for y'all.
It's about to change with COVID restrictions lifted.
Yeah. COVID kind of shut everything down. But
love you too, Lil.
Since we here every Friday, the next 2 weeks I have interviews Thursdays and Fridays. I'm not gonna go through the list of people that I have coming up.
Late, Kurt.
But give me 1 second, Paul.
Kurt.
Y'all, please don't
Smitty.
leave. Who is that?
Yeah.
Who's that? Oddly enough. Okay, hold on right quick. Somebody wants to come talk to you real quick. Please don't knock my table over.
I hear her already.
Just come stand right here.
What's up, Libby?
There you go. So Libby makes another appearance on What's Up With You. Let me take the headphone. Hold on. I'm gonna give her one because she can't hear me. I got the earpod. She can't hear you. I got the joints in. Hold on. Put this in your. Hold it in there, baby. Put it in there. Can you hear him?
How you doing, beautiful lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are growing so beautiful. Yeah. Oh my God. Where's your twin at? Yeah.
My twin? She's asleep.
She was thinking about it. Oh. What grade you in now?
Like second.
Whoa, wait.
Homeschool. Yeah, I can
so
hear you.
You can still hear me, Paul? So
night.
Night. She's she's in kindergarten, but she's
Right.
on second grade level of
Of course.
reading,
Yeah.
writing, and math and
Top
stuff
notch,
like
girl.
that.
You
So
top notch. I'm gonna have to start quizzing you.
Yep.
You ready?
Okay.
I'm not gonna quiz you tonight. I'm not gonna quiz you on
Melissa
TV,
said your hair is pretty.
on air.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot. We'll do it offline.
Yeah,
Girl.
we'll do it offline.
She's like, okay,
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
All right. Oh, this took longer than I thought, huh?
Yeah,
What?
it takes about an hour and 20 minutes. So we appreciate you, Paul. We love you, man. I edit this joint up and I had a YouTube ready for you. It'll be ready for YouTube by next Saturday. If not
Love you, my
before then,
brother.
I'll let you know.
Keep up the good work. Bye, lady baby.
All right, my brother. Peace out, man.